What's up, guys? Today we're going to be unboxing, doing the first impressions of the Galaxy S23 FE. So the FE series is back. They skipped with the S22 FE. So the last one was the S21 FE, and I really like that phone. So this is interesting. So the price of this phone is $600, and you know, $600 brand new, and you can get an S23 for $800, I believe, brand new. At least that's what I'm seeing on Amazon. You can get a used S23 for $600. So it's pretty interesting. Like, you know, the whole point of this phone. Like, what is the purpose of this phone? Sort of dive into it and do a lot of price comparisons. But let's go ahead and get this out. I decided to go with this kind of mint green color, and it looks pretty cool. I don't have a phone, any mint green phone at all, so this looks really nice. Alright, let's go ahead and power this on here, and of course, as always, nothing in the box. You should get a SIM tool ejector, Type C to Type C. So it is a glass and metal phone here, and I absolutely love this color, guys. And it pretty much looks like an S23. It has the metal sides on here as well too. It's IP68 dust and water resistant, and yeah, very comfortable to hold. Just from turning the phone on, I noticed that the bezels are much thicker than like on the standard S23. Not like crazy, but just like kind of at the bottom, you kind of notice it a lot. But let's go ahead and just set this up, and let's go ahead and run through the phone. Let's talk about the screen on the S23 FE here. It's a pretty good display. So it is slightly bigger display than the standard S23. I believe that is a 6.1 inch display. This is a 6.4 inch display. It's the dynamic AMOLED display. It's 120 Hertz. It's 1080p. It's 403 for the PPI. And overall, just a really nice looking panel. It is pretty bright as well too. It is 1450 nits peak brightness, and just taking some pictures outdoors, it was fine in direct sunlight, so no issues there. I think the biggest thing you'll notice is that you do have a little bit more bezel compared to the standard S23, as you guys can see here. And again, not a huge deal. And again, it is a completely flat panel as well too. So display on here is pretty good. Let's talk about the specs a little bit more. So we have the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 on here, and we also have 128 gigs of internal storage, and we also have 8 gigs of RAM on this model. There is a 256 gig as well, but it is also only 8 gigs of RAM. And you can see basically it scores pretty much with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. So yeah, so it's still a pretty fast phone. I can't say that it's a slow phone by any means. As we know, the S23 has the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor, so you know, this is where they're sort of saving costs. So basically with these fan editions, they sort of cut stuff and you sort of save costs that way to get, you know, a brand new phone that is relatively, you know, going to still be powerful. And overall, like the actual processor, you can't really complain too much about it because, I mean, it's still really fast. There's nothing that this processor cannot do. Now, gaming on here, like I said, is going to be pretty good. It essentially feels pretty much the same as the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor. I didn't notice this phone heating up or anything like that, but I have to use it a little bit more. But just running the Geekbench test, gaming, being outdoors, taking photos, video, I don't really see an issue with performance with this phone at all. Now, I know overseas there's an Exynos model, which I can't get my hands on because it's here in the USA, right? But yeah, so as far as this one goes, it's a very solid performer for the price. But then again, like I said, you can get an S23, but it won't be new, but you can get it for around this price of $600. So it's just a pretty interesting device. I know some people, they prefer to just get, you know, newer phone, just a brand new phone. Yeah, so pretty interesting. I want to know you guys' opinion on the fan edition this year. So do you guys think Samsung priced this correctly? But as far as the actual specs here, you guys can see we are able to play Call of Duty at ultra frame rates and not having any issues with any type of heating or anything like that. Let's test out these stereo speakers, max volume. So pretty good bass quality and pretty good speakers on here, even if you cover the bottom. You still get a pretty good amount of bass out of the top speaker. So overall, pretty good speakers, sound really full. This phone also has the under the display fingerprint sensor on here. It is the optical one, but Samsung does such a good job with these optical ones. It almost feels like the ultrasonic ones. You guys can see that. But the ultrasonic ones, let's see. Yeah, the ultrasonic ones you can like lightly tap and it'll open it up. Cameras are pretty solid this year. We have a 50 megapixel standard, a 8 megapixel telephoto. It does 3 times optical zoom, and then we have 30 times for the max zoom. We also have on here a 12 megapixel ultra wide. It can shoot up to 8K 24. Then you have a 10 megapixel selfie cam that can also shoot in 4K 60. All right, so let's go ahead and just check out the stills. Let me know what you guys think. Here's the video. We are in a 1080-60 here. You know what you guys think about the mic quality as well. Do a little zoom in. This cat here, gotta clean up. What do you guys think? Be sure to let me know. It's pretty solid. You also have Samsung desktop support on here as well too, so you're not really missing anything as far as the software. It is running Android 13 on here, and yeah, it basically feels like an S23 that's kind of like, you know, a little bit cut back, and you know, it's a little bit cheaper. As far as the battery situation goes, gonna have to use it a little bit more. But it's got a 4500 milliamp hour battery. It's got 25 watt wire charging. It does have wireless charging as well on here. And yeah, so overall, just, you know, playing around with the battery life seems somewhat solid. So overall, it is a pretty solid device for the most part. You pretty much have just basically a stripped back S23. So what do you guys think? Let me know, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.